We always thought alien life would come from the stars. But it came from deep beneath the Pacific.
What the hell is going on?
The first kaiju made land in San Francisco. The second attack hit Manila. And then the third one hit Cabo. And then we learned this was not gonna stop. In order to fight monsters, we created monsters of our own.
Oh, why didn't they make Three Stooges robots? Just boinking the kaijus in the eye.
Why you?
That would be the Michael Bay version.
No, if it was the Michael Bay version, they would have dicks and be peeing constantly.
And faces.
And then explode.
That dude has an obsession with piss. And there's a lot of water in this movie, but there is no piss or sweat or vomit, because this is an actual well-done giant robot battle.
I like the way that's the standard. Does it have piss, yes or no? No, well, it's probably pretty good.
That's the thing is that when you judge films, you have to compare it against the other films out there, not just the good ones, but the bad ones. And we've had nothing but bad giant robot movies for a long-ass time. It's about time we got something fairly decent. And, this movie's fairly decent. We're here today to talk about Pacific Rim, which everybody says is going to tank, but I've seen it, Michelle's seen it, Maz has seen it, Callum's seen it, Jackson's seen it. That's
so
enough, right?
So it's clearly going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we all saw it.
Our tastes have never been wrong before, right? Alright.
My aunt.
No, our tastes are fine. It's everyone else's taste that we're not too sure about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The best thing is not caring about how well Pacific Rim does is I don't have to give a shit about Grown Ups 2. Yeah, I don't even have to ironically hate it. I can just ignore it for my entire life. It's great. I will never see a single frame of that film.
Too, I had to. These things
You
called
did?
trailers before movies. So
Well, I don't watch trailers before movies.
I got to see
I
a
thought you
CGI
watched
deer
it.
taking a piss on Adam Sandler's face. It was not hilarious.
Okay, we've mentioned piss too many times in the beginning of this review.
Yeah, you're trying to piss us off.
Seriously, let's get into the actual review of this thing. We're here talking about Pacific Rim. It's the new Guillermo del Toro
Pacific
movie.
Rim.
Okay, Jackson's no longer with us, folks.
I'm sorry. I just say I'm just carry on.
For shame. For shame. Alright, Pacific Rim is the new Guillermo del Toro giant monster movie. And basically the idea is that aliens have invaded, but they didn't come from space. They came from a portal that opened up in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And these aliens are giant-ass beasts called kaijus, which for anybody who is familiar with Japanese, Godzilla or giant monster movies, you know what, kaiju is not a term they made up. It's an actual term that's been used for a long time. And, human beings for years just got their asses kicked by these monsters. And then all of a sudden they went, well, we just build our own giant monsters. So they build these giant things called Jaegers, and in order for the Jaeger to work, you have to have two pilots working on it at the same time, and they meld brains. And that's all you need to know about this movie, because it's all about the giant monster action. What did you guys think of this film?
It's okay. It's disappointing. It's a disappointment. I was disappointed. It could have been so much more than it was, but it
Yeah,
was
it's like
fine.
I also enjoyed it. I just wish there was more. I kind of felt like the intro was too rushed.
The intro is kind of just, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and
Well,
then
I
this
think it's fair
happened.
so
It's
we
like,
can get to the
some
point.
of that shit would be cool to see,
Yes.
I turned to my friend during the intro bit when I was like, and here's my brother. And I was like, well, one of them's dead.
No shit.
You're so happy to be around in movies, aren't you, Jackson?
Well, no, I've seen enough movies to know that, and me and my brother went out fighting wars together. Well, yeah, this is going to turn out great. And little did I
it's
know.
not exactly. It's definitely not the most original film ever, but it's still just a ton of fun, which is kind
Well,
of.
it's not
Yes.
meant to be. Yeah, that's the thing is that it's not meant to be original. Like I've heard some people go, "This is a very original idea." Not if you've seen anime, motherfucker.
Yes.
Because there are shot-for-shot scenes lifted right from Evangelion, but that's fine. I'm cool with that because it's not like he's stealing. Anybody out there says, "Oh, he's stealing from Evangelion"? No, he's paying homage to it. Okay, because this is enough of his own idea. once it gets into the whole, like, you know, like you've got Charlie Day in there playing the smart version of Charlie Day. It's his most non-Charlie Day-ish performance yet.
And Bern
I
Gorman as his quirky British sidekick.
Yeah, which I was watching that and I was like, oh, Jackson and Callum are gonna have stuff to say about this.
But what is Bern Gorman doing in movies? Just he showed up in Dark Knight Rises, he showed up in Red Lights, and every time he showed up, I'm like, what are you doing here? How did you get here? Why are you showing up in all these Hollywood films? You're Bern Gorman. You were in that torture for about 15 minutes and you died. No one cared. It was how did this happen?
Well,
Can I just say though,
he was in Game of Thrones for about 15 minutes, and then he killed the Lord Commander.
God,
Can I just say though,
spoilers, people!
thank God for those two guys, though.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my problem with this movie. All right, I've mentioned, hey, it's pretty awesome, the giant monster battles. A lot of the critiques that have been coming from this film, like I read the critic reviews out there, and a lot of the critiques have been, the characters are so flat, the dialogue is so poor, and it's just boring, it's all one-dimensional. And a lot of people were defending this movie saying, why do you need actual characters in this? It's all about the giant monsters. Why do you need characters? I'll tell you why you need characters, because it starts with a badass monster fight in the middle of the ocean. Then there is an hour of nothing, except for just grizzled dudes just staring there going, well, I guess it's time to get down to business.
I'm sorry, Aaron. That was not an Australian enough accent. Can we go again?
Oh no, I was doing the grizzled white guy. There's
okay.
also the grizzled Australian guys going, well, I guess it's about time to get down to business, mate.
Is that Quentin Tarantino?
There's a
Django
giant
Unchained?
kangaroo over the border. Hugh Jackman.
To the point of the characters being flat and terrible, there's that great line from Idris Elba. Those characters named fucking Stacker Pentecost.
Oh,
okay?
all the characters' names are awesome.
Yeah, I'm just like, I didn't realize his first name was Stacker until I looked it up on Wikipedia.
Oh, I don't think they say anybody's character's name in here at all.
No, they just have stereotypes
Riley.
like white guy, Australian
Mako.
guy, those Chinese guys, and those Russian guys who got killed, and because no one cares about communists.
Yeah, when it gets to the moment when the credits started rolling, I was like, who are the actors' names in here? As soon as the character names came up, I was like, how did I not know any of these character names? Like, it's literally like they hid them specifically to give you a treat during the credits.
Well, like, his whole line is like, I'm a fixed point to hold everything together. I'm like, yeah, that's basically what all these characters function are. They're there to function as a thing to move this plot along, so we have more mechs versus monsters, and that's that, and don't need nothing more than that.
Oh, I understand that.
But,
Like
yeah.
I said, I'm fine with them not giving us deep characters if you give us the big, awesome monster battles. But like I said, it's an hour between these giant monster battles in which you were just stuck there listening to, like, don't get me wrong, for anybody out there who's going to come in here and say, oh, you guys didn't get, they were trying to be campy and corny on purpose. I'm not really a fan of that. Like, I know they were trying to do that. But, like, every time that someone tells me that, I always think back to The Simpsons. Right when they were starting to get bad, they did an episode in which it was like, okay, we're going to do a salute to bad spin-offs, and we're going to purposely try and write bad spin-off dialogue. And it was one of the worst episodes of The Simpsons have ever done. Because it's bad, it's hard to be bad on purpose and still be fun. Like, I mean, it's hard to make bad on purpose good. Mm-hmm. And that's what this movie's trying to do. Like, it's the best way I can describe... Oh, yeah, exactly. The best way that I can describe this movie, you know, in a cartoon, whenever someone is watching something on TV and they purposely try and make the dumbest 80s movie possible put up there, this is that movie. This is the movie that all TV characters and cartoon characters are watching on TV that they make up just for that. It's what that movie is. Because, yeah, it is, I mean, like, the CSI Miami guy wouldn't even say some of these lines right before he puts the sunglasses on. That's how corny this stuff is.
I think he would say we're cancelling the apocalypse.
Oh,
But that was I don't have much of a problem with like that middle hour as most of you lot because because again Idris Elba, Charlie Day, and Bern Gorman in particular, as well as the person who played Mako Mori, pretty much carry that film's hour on the backs of themselves, and also Ron Throckmorton Perlman.
Yeah, like I said, those guys saved that hour for me. Like, I'm not complaining too much about it because it had those guys in it. And also, I'll say this.
I don't want to be controversial here, but that hour also had the best action scene in the movie, which was the two dudes fighting with sticks. I'm sorry, it was better than any of the mech battles.
So since when did Makamori a dude?
Dude is a gender-neutral term.
Fair enough.
I am a
thing is, that hour was weird, but I feel it was important because at some point in the third act, like between Hong Kong and then the final set piece, it's about the time that I think like grizzled son was talking to his grizzled dad about father-son issues. Suddenly something happened to me. I realised I actually started caring about these characters. I mean, not enough to know their names or anything, but like in the heat of the moment, some reason I was actually caught up in it, and it worked.
This is the best compliment that I can give that hour where there's no battles. I had to pee as soon as this movie started, and I went, okay, I'll just wait till a moment where I'm not interested. And I couldn't I had to wait until the end of the movie, simply because it's like, yeah, there is no moment here where stuff isn't being progressed, where I am not intrigued by what is happening.
On the character front, I wrote in my review, I was just kind of like, they don't really have characters that kind of, you appreciate them on a nerdum level of like, hey, look, it's Idris Elba saying cool sounding words that don't mean anything.
Would you like to die on the wall or in a Jaeger?
Yeah, God, like also, I didn't realize that the Aussie duo were father and son until just about the very end.
Yeah.
I thought he was the son of the pilot that was the original pairing. And then I was like, oh no, they're father-son, okay.
To be fair, when that guy first showed up in like that little newsreel bit where he was going about how he's killed Yedge and killed my 14th Jaeger, I thought that was our main character and like a time thing because they looked so alike at the moment in time.
Well,
also, Charlie Hunnam in that
Australian, right?
Yeah. Also, Charlie Hunnam in that film.
No, not Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, Hunnam. He was flat and boring. Pretty much everybody out-acts or out-hams the movie away from him, and thusly he's kind of a non-entity, whereas everybody else is at least engaged. Idris Elba, based on that single performance, if he could lead, like, if I was in an army, I would follow Idris Elba into the depths of hell, quite frankly. And he is that sort of charming leader.
And that is another one of my problems with this movie. Like I said, I know they're trying to be that old monster movie kind of cameos. They're trying to pay homage with this bad dialogue and, these characters. But those old movies still had a dynamic lead. Like, they still had a lead. Like, the good ones, at least, still had a memorable lead. They still had a character there in the lead who, like, had a personality or had charisma coming off them. And Charlie Hunnam is just, they went too generic with it.
Well, yeah, it just felt like we need generic white American dude as the lead to sell this movie. Oh, okay, that's done. Can we get to Idris Elba and the girl, please? Because those two are that's the interesting relationship there. If you cut Charlie Hunnam out of this movie, it would be 10 times better.
Yeah. Well, get somebody else to do the. I'm not sure. Let's just check for a pulse bit because that's a single bit of his character I'm possibly going to remember.
That's the only line I actually remember from this movie. And that's an actual good one. But yeah, that's my thing. Is that I've heard a lot of people saying, "Why do you need relationships with characters in this?" And like I said,
of course you need them. That's the whole reason you're there. People say it's for the action.
No, it's not.
No, you have to care that the character is going to die or not. I don't care.
No, you don't.
Yes,
this movie is all
the action is meaningless and without. Like, you could have a real cool fight scene, but if there aren't any, like, stakes, it's kind of like, that was just cool choreography. Like, good pro wrestling match is one where the crowd is hot and into it. Bad pro wrestling match is just one where the crowd don't give a shit. And it could be awesome. But the crowd don't care? No, I don't care, because the crowd's not into it.
Exactly. And that's not to say you can't be kind of campy and silly and stuff like. The Fast and the Furious movies work because even though all the characters are one-dimensional and flat, you still want to spend time with those characters, and you care that Vin Diesel doesn't die. Whereas here, I want to see the next fight, but if Charlie Hunnam dies and is replaced by someone else, I don't care, and that is a problem because then you don't care as much about the battles. It's straight up makes the movie worse.
Okay. You don't care about the battles.
Well, I think characterizing it as the late war film, though, with only like 4 Jaegers left, really did make up for it, though, a bit. Because you're like, that one's gone. And you have to count in your head of like, well, they only got 2 left. I guess they're gonna be fucked now.
That is another important thing to point out. We didn't really talk about this in the plot to it, but also part of this is, the government builds Jaegers, but then this movie starts when, like, the last Jaeger... Shut up, Jackson!
No.
This movie starts when the last... Shut up!
No, the best thing about that you're not forget is the fact that they made giant monsters, and then they thought, why don't we build a wall? That was the... Okay, carry on.
But yeah, what we didn't talk about is that this movie starts right when they were like, shit, these things are getting stronger and the Jaegers can't survive. Well, let's shut down the Jaeger program. And basically, like, people from every government out there have kind of come together. Which is kind of a cool thing, is that the basic plot of this is not, hey, this, one country saves the world. It's that everybody has kind of come together on this.
Oh yeah, socialist one world governments for the win. Like, dude, like, you could have, like, some really fun, like, geopolitical readings on this movie because of that. That's kind of cool.
Anyway, so people from other countries all come together, and basically they form this resistance. Basically, they got their Jaegers and decided to form a little base where it's like, okay, we're not part of any government right now. We are here to save the people. And I do think that's pretty cool.
Okay, let's...
But yeah, you do bring up a good point, is that, when there's only, like, 4 Jaegers left... You are in your head thinking, like, oh shit, well, as soon as one goes down, who's left?
Yeah, that's also kind of the problem with this movie, is that I love this idea. I don't want to see a prequel because it'd be a bad prequel. It'd be like Star Wars prequel in that we have to just explain stuff and not have a story, really.
Or just be 2 hours.
Even though, like, I really want to see more of these Jaegers fight these monsters.
They have ideas for a crazy sequel. They'll probably just make more Jaegers in the future. Or just the government will crumble without...
Mechs versus mechs.
Yeah, mechs versus mechs. Exactly, that's the way you go. How are they going to hold up when there's not a constant threat, when there's no need to work together? Mechs versus mechs, that's how.
Well, also, you can't really do a prequel, because in this movie they describe that as time goes on, the kaijus keep getting bigger. As, like, every single one that comes out is bigger, and every single one that comes out quicker than the last one did. So if you do a prequel, basically, you're going smaller. And you can't do that with a film like this. I mean, this film works when it is big. And we've mostly been talking about that hour that's of just, these plain basic characters. Once it gets into the third act, that's when the giant monsters start, and it doesn't stop.
Hong Kong, people! Just Hong Kong.
Callum, that doesn't mean anything to the people who haven't seen it.
Well, no, like, I just need to say it in that sort of proud kind of term, and that says it all, because the Hong Kong action scene is just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have a problem with the fact that, there's 3 action sequences in this. There's the one at the very beginning, then there's the hour of nothing, and then,
at the end of the second
it's not entirely nothing. It's not entirely nothing. You do get other kaiju attacks, like in flashbacks or on a TV screen, but as far as, like, an actual battle, there's that one at the beginning, then at the beginning of the third act, there's a huge one in Hong Kong, and that kind of was a bit of a problem for me, simply because the second one is the best one. The third one, I still think is awesome. I still really like the third one, but the second one is the battle of this movie.
The second one is kind of like the spectacle climax, and then the third one, it definitely does top its spectacle, but it kind of tries to reach for the emotional stakes instead, and it doesn't fully land, but it's still fine and badass. But
it still does its job.
Yeah, the Hong Kong battle is where it's at, because that thing's
amazing. The third one does its job, definitely. I'm not criticizing that in any way, but the second one, holy shit, that is awesome. I love the second one. Because, when I was going into that second one, I was like, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm kind of numb to this. I'm not really enjoying it. And holy shit, did that get me back in there. Like, I was on the edge of my seat, and, like, I hadn't been that way since I saw the battles in the raid, where I was just going, ooh, damn, oh, yes! Like, I was actually saying that stuff out loud without even thinking about it.
Oh, shit, son! That sort of
thing. Yeah, like, how can you not be giddy as the camera slowly pulls out, revealing that Gypsy Danger is just pulling a giant oil tanker and turning it into a katana?
Oh, yeah, I mean...
How can you not just, like, smile with glee?
Oh, that
they're just so much boyish, like, yeah, this is fun and awesome. Just, like, love in this movie.
Oh, just like that moment where, like, the fist is going... where like the fist is going through the office and it just like slows down until it
Stop. That's a great gag. Do not ruin that, Callum, for people who haven't seen it. No, because I'll edit that out.
No, because Alan shut me up.
Shut you guys up. Yeah, I know that you guys don't want to actually do reviews. You guys like to come on here and just, no, fuck the reviews. Let's just talk about this. Full spoilers. No, stop it. Stop it. Bad dog.
We want to talk subtext and geopolitical context of movies.
Bad. Jackson, stop. Bad. Okay. But yeah, fuck that. And you want to talk about this thing being a giant anime. The moment that Gypsy Danger reveals, it's got a rocket punch. It's like, holy shit,
but
that's
you just hear
awesome.
Alan McLean go, rocket punch activated. You just go,
yes! It's like, oh shit, if one of you has like the big O oil drill punch, I am going to lose my shit.
Like there's a, I really do love the small little newsy reveals in this movie that are kind of small and like 30 seconds. They're the great little like anime homages of like, no, like in every anime there's that close-up cells of the like rockets coming out of the chest and all that, and they're just like, here's that it's just reused all the time. And like, no, here's that moment. That's that moment. It's awesome, and yeah, it really gets those moments.
It does. It totally does. And for anybody out there who says, oh man, yeah, you can't make an anime adaptation, go fuck yourself. This movie proves that you can.
Well, you can, but to be fair, the entire time I was thinking this would be better if it was A, animated, and B, episodic. So,
well,
that's the thing. I've had this discussion.
I counter Jackson that, in fact, this movie flows just like a 6-episode, roughly, OVA would. If you think about it, you got opening thing that sets it up, and then just 30-minute chunks, 30-minute chunks, 30-minute chunks.
Yeah, true.
It's
but
perfectly episodic.
But and also, I've had this, you say it'd be better if it was animated. I've had this discussion with Michelle many times. What is animation? Because, yeah, you've got CGI robots fighting CGI monsters in a CGI town. Isn't that animation?
No, because they're trying to make it more grounded, and you could get away with cooler fights, be way less dark dinginess. It would look more colourful. You'd be able to make the world look more crazy in this different way that only 2D animation can do, and it's one of the best things about all those crazy animes that was lacking from this because it went for that, we're going to have real people and make it realistic look. And I felt that did kind of bring it back a bit.
Also, if this was anime, we wouldn't have that long introduction. It would just show us what happened, you know.
Exactly.
And then there might be a time skip because like a lot of animes do the time skip, and then like we get into like the actual movie. So
I don't know, have this like really cool 2-minute theme tune with lyrics. It'd be great.
Broken English.
It definitely wouldn't have had all those fights at night when it's raining constantly.
That's
like constantly.
Why was it so dark?
They look awesome. Shut up.
I mean, it was so dark because that was the kaiju influence there rather than the mech influence. And
well, it's because if it's dark, then yeah, the kaijus look better because the kaijus glow in the dark. But I mean, they wanted definitely to have the lights be around them be what adds.
What did everyone think of the kaiju design anyway?
Okay.
They were solid. I liked the gorilla-looking one and the Rodan one.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty cool. I mean, they could have been better, sure, but I mean, I thought they were still pretty cool.
Yeah, they were cool. It's like I was hoping for more variety, but like when they explain like how the kaiju came around, is like, oh, so they're all kind of related.
Yeah,
so that's why they look similar. So.
Yeah, there's an explanation for why they all look the same. I was like, okay, like, yeah, at one point I was like, well, yeah, why do they all have kind of like Rocky-ish looking skin? Couldn't they have a little bit, different colors and stuff? But as soon as they like explain the origin of the kaijus, I was like, you know what, yeah, they do all need to have similarities in like skin colors and such. Yeah, so I can understand.
Anybody notice it as well? It's kind of a stealth, it's a stealth anti-pollution type thing as well. The way that they announced in the start they can only survive because of the whole fact that the waters are so polluted and awful.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. The origin of the kaijus. Once like Charlie Day figures out like where they all came from, I was like, holy shit, this is pretty cool.
I was just kind of like, oh look, it's Independence Day because the last act is Independence Day.
But I'm not.
That's not a bad thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I love this story, because it treats the whole, like, we're going to have mechs fight kaijus and it's going to be awesome, with, like, the sense of fun. There's pretty much no, like, angst over this whole thing here. It's just a kind of, look, we're having mechs fight fight monsters whilst a single helicopter floats around attempting to bathe it in light so you can see what's going on, and it's going to be awesome. Isn't this fun? Isn't this amazing? Instead of going, well, Max, for a big responsibility, and it's too...
Exactly. Like, my biggest complaint with the majority of the summer movies this year, except for Iron Man 3, is that none of the other ones really knew what it wanted to be or wanted to do, and this one was like, no, man, Guillermo del Toro is just like, I want to make a movie where giant mechs fight giant robots, and I can have allusions to all my favorite mech anime and anime. And it's like, that's what I did, and he did it.
I've read a quote from him about this, where he said specifically, "It is my job to create the coolest fucking robots and film them, and create battling the coolest fucking monsters we can design and film them too." That was his mission statement for this film. And
although, like, he didn't he could have done a bit more with the cinematography, because we're working in a purely digital environment when those things are going down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a bit more non-static camera movement. I mean, I'm all for like nice, consistent editing for action and momentum, but just like it could have had some swoopiness to it.
Well, I enjoyed being able to see what's going on.
Cool with it. Like, I think that with all the lights, I think with the lighting that they were going for, and also all the environments around them, it was like, you could have done a little bit more. But I think that adding a little bit more there might have been a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, but, like one of my pet peeves at first, like the first battle in the beginning is like there was too much close-ups.
The first battle is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, there were too many close-ups, so I couldn't tell what was going on. I just saw like fists flying, and I didn't know which fist was the kaiju or which one was the Jaeger. So it's like, can you zoom out a bit? I'd like to see a bit of a scale so I know how grandiose this is supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. And like I've heard a lot of people have the same criticism that you guys had, that it was too dark and you couldn't really tell what was going on. I didn't have that problem with the second and third fight. The second and third fight I was fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first one I had a little problem with it. Yeah.
Yeah. That shot of the Jaeger just coming crashing down onto random Antarctic or Alaskan coast.
Alaska, yeah.
Yeah, it was Alaska,
I was just like, oh man, you would have looked so much cooler on the IMAX screen.
That is the thing. Did anyone see this in 3D?
No. Because
like, 3D is going to be terrible.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro himself came out and said, do not see this in 3D. They converted it without my approval.
I thought he said he put it through the 40-week thing because he wanted to ensure that it was done right.
I think he did it as best as he could, but he was still like, guys, sit in 2D.
Yeah.
Save your money.
Yeah, alright, so let's get into our ratings. Who wants to go first?
I will. All of you are wrong. It's 3 stars.
Sorry, are you Jackson suddenly?
Yes.
Because
we drifted together and mind melded.
Maz has always been the American Jackson. This is... If they mind melded, they would just have a giant robot wagging a finger the entire time.
So, Maz, what's your real score?
No, 3.5.
It's 3.
Okay,
yeah, 3.5. Alright, who's next? Jackson, you two mind melded. Is that your opinion too?
Yeah, I had 3 stars probably. A low 3. It was disappointing. It was serviceable in bits. I really liked bits, but overall the letter came out very disappointed. I thought that they just messed up too many of the character bits, and I didn't really care at the end.
If we had a Pupcast bingo card, Jackson is disappointed would be the free spot in the middle.
I really wish they explored the Miss Maury's character a bit more. Like, they have that whole, like, no, she's traumatized by that. That's the best scene in the whole damn movie. Yeah. And then they just kind of drop it. Because, no, she needs to be better now because of plot.
And Naz has a weird opinion on what's the best scene in the movie. Would be the next over from the free spot.
No, he's right. It's the best scene in the movie because it's light, it's in day, it's revealing stuff about character, which the other action scenes don't do. That's the only action scene where character is revealed in the scene, and it makes it so much better. When she's running away and got the shoe there, it's great. It's great. And I wish the movie was more of that. So 3 stars.
Can people stop being wrong, please?
No, I'm right. Stop being dumb, Callum.
Yes, because somebody judging this film for exactly what it's supposed to be is dumb. Yes, going into a thing and looking for stuff that's not there is totally smart, Jackson. Callum, what's your take?
I'm going to give it a solid 4 stars. yes, it has problems, but I came out of that movie and was surprised to find out that it actually ran over 2 hours, because it felt like, even with that hour in the middle between battles, I still felt like I'd only been sat there for about an hour and 45 at most. It's just really, really big, stupid fun, which somehow in the third act managed to actually make me care about how it's going to end, other than just, oh my god, what are these giant mechs going to do now? This is going to be awesome type thing. So I'm more than happy with this movie, if none of you other killjoys are.
No, hey, I'm not the killjoy.
No, I'm talking to the other two who have scored right now.
I totally understand. And I am right there with you. I'm going to give this 4 stars. I was pretty, wasn't that happy with it for that first, 2 acts. But holy shit, that last act totally saves this movie for me. So, yeah, I'm giving it 4 stars as well.
First off, we're gonna use...
Shit.
No, what? No, shut up!
Okay.
No, first off, the official Screen Pops rating will be paw prints, not stars.
Alright, cool.
Okay.
Yes, because I got requested to draw paw prints and everything, so I will give this 3.5 paws.
Okay.
How do you delineate half a paw? Is it a vertical bisection or is it a horizontal bisection?
It's vertical. You know how you do? You know how like you have the stars and like you have the half star and it's divided down in the down vertically. So yeah, I did the same thing with the paws. So.
If it was horizontal, it would just look like a boat.
Well, I would have thought it would be the half star would just be the 3 dots without the big dot at the bottom. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Alright, so
graphic design talk.
You're making this more complicated than it has to be.
Wow, and that would be the next over spot for Maz interpreted on it.
Michelle, what is your score?
I told you 3.5 paws.
Okay, no, I thought like you were going to extrapolate on that or something. Like
no.
Okay.
Hold on, Callum. Hold on, Callum didn't hear what someone said. I think I've got bingo now. If Jackson says so wrong, I've got it. Alright. Shit. I got nothing to end this with because
So hang on, I've got something on the bingo card. Alan doesn't know how to start or end a podcast. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Why do I get the feeling like if any of us mind bonded in our Jaegers, we would just have the robot slapping its arms against each other the whole time? Inside, it would just be us like getting each other in headlocks, and outside the Jaeger would just be like giving itself a purple nurple.
It is pretty cool.
Pacific Rim.